There we go. Wow, I'm like so nervous, but also so excited because there's so many amazing humans here. I'm just really honored. And I think my Dadi just joined. Yes, hey Dadi. That's my grandma. Both of my grandmas are here. So this is like, and my family. And yeah, it's just really special to be able to like share that even, Zoom has its perks, I'll say. Yeah, so I'll just present and share my screen really quick. Wait a second. Okay, there we go. Can everyone see that? Thumbs up, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, so I guess I'll just start off. Buju, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Madison, hello and welcome. I started off with just a few pictures of some of the earrings I've made, and I'm just gonna be talking for like 20-ish, 25 minutes about everything. It was really the first time I've been able to like put together this whole journey in like a presentable way. So this will be an experience, and I'm so glad you're all joining me for it. And then there'll be some time to ask some questions and stuff if anyone has any. So yeah. So first I have, let me see, how can I, oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. So some Zoom etiquette. Zoom really sucks, so cameras off, totally welcome. If you need to leave and go see the sun, it's really nice outside, at least here, so feel free. This is my mom took this picture. I was trying to be like professional businesswoman-y, so that was my attempt. And yeah, please feel free to go wild in the chat. I can't really see it when I'm screen sharing, but I know I'll be looking at it later and it will make me very happy. So yeah. There we go. So I wanted to start off showing some pieces of beadwork that are really important to my family. This right here, you can see my cursor, right? If I move it. Yeah, okay, cool. This right here is my sort of our family beadwork. And this is my grandma right here. I know she's in the Zoom. So yeah, this is from a wedding a few years ago. And my grandma originally taught me to bead maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, but I wasn't really into it at that point. She was just, like passing along some things. But I've always grown up like seeing so much beadwork all around me, and earrings and cradle boards and things like this, like little wallets and things. I'm not positive how old some of these are, but I think they could be around like at least like 50 maybe years old, some of these. And like I said, this is our sort of like our family flower beadwork that pops up like when we talk about our heritage or have pieces of pieces of beadwork that are really important to us. And yeah, most of my beadwork is really Ojibwe focus. So there's like this huge idea of like spirals and like florals, especially on black velvet and things like that. And I definitely started off doing a lot more like flat stitch, which I'm going to show you. Yeah, but if you're wondering what beadwork is in general, for me, it means so many different things, but it's a very ancestral teaching. It's been passed down through many, many generations. It has changed so much from seed beads to people use all sorts of things, porcupine quills or Delica beads, Japanese beads. Like there's so many different things that it has turned into over the years. But for me, I use seed beads. I use porcupine quills recently. Gabriella, who I know is here, can show off maybe later. And yeah, I think I'll just keep showing pictures of the work and people can ask questions as I go. But yeah, so here are some of the mentors that have really inspired my art and everything that I do. We have my auntie Denise here, who taught me how to do, same wedding this picture is from, who taught me how to do a lot of the beadwork that I do on the flat stitch and stuff that I'll be showing later. And then I have my mom here and an elder in our community, Richard Wright, who I just think has sort of shaped like generally my like native upbringing in Minneapolis, which is where I'm from. And here's my Dadi. I know she's also here in this chat, and she doesn't bead, but she's like super crafty and has sent me like all sorts of little crafty things to like hold my scissors or to hold my needles. So I think that that's like totally inspiring to me and has kept me going in this process. And then over here we have my sort of cousin, sort of mentor person, Elsa, who originally taught me how to make earrings. Yeah. So these are the first earrings I ever made. And it's a sort of one of our Ojibwe teachings that you gift the first pair of earrings that you make. So I actually gave this pair to my friend from College Horizons. I don't know if anyone's a College Horizons stan in the Zoom, but I for sure am. And yeah, I sent her these earrings. Culture Horizons was like this like program for Native students to meet each other as they're like pursuing higher ed. So we met through that, and I made these first earrings that I made. I gave them to her, and then I think the actual second pair that I made are right here. And I gave these to my sisters, to Haley. They're like the colors of our high school, so she could wear them out and about. And yeah, I think you like as we go through this presentation, you'll be able to see like how much my style has changed and improved, but I've also kept a lot of these core elements that are like really central to who I am and how I create. Yeah, so this was my first big project. So basically it was prom season, right? At that point I really just didn't want to wear a dress, and I was like, I should wear a suit. So I was like, but I want to wear a cool suit that's like super unique. So I decided to like bead a suit. And I remember my mom being like, are you sure? Like, can you really do this in the time like it takes, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, in the middle of junior year, I was like, it's happening. So I started about a month before prom, and my mom like drew this design out. Thank you, Mom. You're in here too, I think. And this is like on parchment paper, and I beaded on top of it, and I chose colors and stuff. This was literally like one of my first projects ever. So it's a bit ambitious, but I went for it. And this is how it kind of turned out. So this is like stage 3. We found the blazer at like Opitz, which is like it's like secondhand, but sort of like upscale. And I wore my whole outfit was like hand-me-down shoes, like hand-me-down pants. Like I really, you'll see that in the presentation too. Like it's really important to me to have just like sustainability in my mind when I'm creating and stuff. Yeah, so this is the final version at prom. Now you're gonna see pictures of me from 2018, but it's fine. Yeah, and this is the front. I also beaded that. I actually have it. I don't know if you can see my little Zoom screen, but I have it here. I was so scared when we were sent home that it was going to get ruined because all my boxes were still here when we were all, sent home in quarantine. But I think it stayed pretty good. You can see it right here. It's definitely like some of the beads are even fading a bit, but this bead down here, this is like a water flower. I decided to put that at the bottom and like have it going up. It's very Ojibwe style beadwork. And this is the Ojibwe rose actually at the top here. Yeah. I think these might be my favorite, these like blue and sort of like sunset flowers. I had a lot of fun with those. And here's the front on the lapel. Actually, this lapel I literally finished the morning of prom. Like it was pretty stressful, but had to go for it. Yeah, and so then I kept going. We haven't even gotten to the earrings yet because for the first like 3 years of my beading journey, I did not make earrings. But I made this jean jacket for my youngest sister. I made this little pouch for one of my friends, and for graduation, I beaded this cap. That was a really fun project. I would literally do it during math class, like in school, like first hour, I'd just whip out the beads and be working on it. And yeah, this project was super special to me because my friends had given me these beads for my birthday, and so like I was able to incorporate them, and it was just a really sweet thing that I was able to put together. Yeah, and because a lot of people aren't allowed to decorate their caps, especially like Native people, to put feathers on them or anything like that. So I really I didn't have to advocate too hard, but I was like, I told my my high school, I was like, I'm gonna be doing this, so you can either like take it or leave it, but I'll show up this way. So and they ended up being really supportive. Yeah, and so I have eagle feathers from my cousin Erin, who gifted me one, and also from some of the Indian education program in Minneapolis. They gave us feathers to put on our caps. And then fall 2019, I posted some work to my Insta story, like my just regular Insta, just to see what would happen. And this is like kind of the original stuff I was doing. Like Jocelyn, I think you're in here. These are Jocelyn's earrings based off the Salvadoran flag. And here are a few of the other examples. And I had like a spreadsheet. It was a total mess. Like all my order, like I was in the middle of Yale, so the first semester. So it was like, I was not keeping up with orders. I was not keeping up with anything. I couldn't even be really inspired, but I was trying because I had just learned to make this style pretty much right before I left for Yale. And I was like, it's so exciting to see people want this type of jewelry and to wear it. Yeah. So then that was pretty much fall 2019. I like pretty much I didn't even finish some of those orders till the summer of 2020. Like it took me a while. But I know a lot of like especially the Native community at Yale, people were like, I want those earrings, like I want to wear them. And that was so meaningful to me. Yeah, so that's how it started. And then quarantine hit, right? I was all like, wow, there's nothing to do except for bead. And it's pretty funny, but when I was sent home, I literally took like I don't know why I did this, but I guess it was, it was an ancestral knowledge that I needed to take all my beads with me. So I literally took all of the beads I owned home instead of like my clothing, blah, blah, blah. We didn't even know we were gonna like not come back, but I ended up having all my supplies, which was like pretty lucky. Yeah, so then in spring 2020, and I figured I would just show it like this, I started my Instagram just for beadwork that I would make and sell and share. And I think the original post way down here. Yeah, there's been a lot of posts since then. Yeah, I think I'm on my like 101st post, so it's been a huge journey. But the very start of it was way down here. I don't know, only the real ones will know. Started right here. And I was just sharing like a few of my things and deciding to drop a little collection of what I was making to see if people would be interested in stuff. And it really just skyrocketed. Like, I think I started with like 300 followers, and now I think I have 3,400 something ish followers, which is like just absolutely incredible. And like, I'll get to it sort of in the presentation, but that's really due to like the support of everyone here. Oh, hello. I guess I got signed out, but it's okay. We'll be back. Anyway, sorry about that. Due to the support of everyone here, that the page has really taken off, and the support of my family and everything like that. Let me see. We'll just let it load. Come on. I'm just gonna stop my screen share and try again, just in case that will speed it along. Thank you all for your patience. There we go. Yay. Okay, we're back. Okay, so yeah, so I started my Instagram. It really took off. I started to make like all types of different styles. I got my spreadsheets together. I got everything together so that I was actually like, I mean, I really just started a business. Like, I just jumped right into it. And yeah, it could not have been possible without my family and all the supporters, but I just decided to put in a few like examples of how I make my creations. So my mom took this photo of me. I think I was making a necklace or something. And yeah, I'm usually like really in the zone. At home, I had like a station basically that took up our entire dining room table. And me and my sisters, we would do art there. My mom was working on her paintings there. It was really just a special creative zone. We ended up like starting to eat in the kitchen instead of the dining room because like we were just like all the art was there, it was really it was taking up the space. But here's an example of like some of the flat stitch that I did. So like I sort of start with the outline and then I fill it in with the colors that speak to me or whatever in that moment. And I also have, I think a lot of my followers really enjoy this teaching, but I was taught to always put a spirit bead in all of my creations whenever I can remember. And the spirit bead is sort of like, it's one bead that's like totally out of place among the rest of the beads, like it doesn't fit. But at the same time it does, because it's like, it's a bead that lets the spirits in and out, lets the mistakes flow, like teaches you that whatever you're creating can be different and special. And even those tiny mistakes like aren't actually that big of a deal at the end of the day. Yeah. So I think people like to like go through the Instagram and find some of those. So feel free to be doing that as we go through here, this presentation. Yeah, and sometimes I use graph paper and I'll just like see what happens, count it out all messy, and then see if I can like put it together on this side. And these ones were for my grandma Rita, who's here. I know hummingbirds. A lot of my art is inspired by things that are important to my family, so like nature and birds and things like that. Yeah. Oh yeah. And so then with the business taking off, with all the followers flooding in, like I literally could not have done it without my assistants. So I have 3 assistants. One of them is, these are my 2 sisters and my dog. And so I like wasn't gonna have an official assistant. And then my sister, my youngest sister, Shivani, you want to say hey in the chat, Shivani, you can. She literally hand delivered me a letter that was like basically a contract between her and I, in which she was applying to be my assistant. And I put it here because it's actually one of the funniest things I've ever read in my life. Like, for example, like she says, Shivani made the job out of her two other opponents, Saheli Patel and Zuzu Patel. This is Saheli right here, and this is Zuzu right here, who often serves as a model on my Instagram and things like that. Yeah, so I have my wonderful assistants, Saheli and Shivani, and yes, you know, it's like we signed the contract. It's like fully an official thing, as you can see. And Saheli also was super, you know, while she's not an official employee of Beadwork by Hema, we still have, you know, we're totally connected because the three of us, me and my sisters, we would like doodle or make art in our dining room, like I was talking about with my mom. And so Haley started her own little business, or just place to share art, which you should all go follow right now. I listed it here. Is that I feel like that's the wrong, you know, Haley, you might have to correct me in the chat, but I think that's the right Instagram, but I'm not positive. But yeah, she makes stuff like this. If you see these Totoro earrings down here, Shrinky Dink, like mastermind basically. So yes, check her out. And we also have some collabs, so you'll see those as I go along too. Yeah, so I went through my spreadsheets trying to count up like all the things I've created, and I totaled it around about 314, which is actually astounding to me. Earring pairs, which means like individual earrings, it's a lot more. So I think that's pretty, I mean, you can tell by my Instagram by there being like 100 and something posts that like that number kind of makes sense, but it's also like, what else have I been doing this year? I'm not sure. But honestly, it's been a joy the whole time, so I'm not even upset about it. But yeah, these are earring pairs. I think I made a few flat stitch earrings, stuff like that too. But yeah, and then I decided to go through and like see where I've sent them off to. And here's the so-called US with all of its borders and where I've sent them around here. So, you know, I'm missing a few in there. I wanted to say, I know, Gabrielle, you're in here, so I'll just come at you. But I wanted to say that I sent them to Montana, but technically you were here when I gave them to you, so you know. So if you are in one of these states, you know, hit me up. I need to finish it off. And I've also sent them to Puerto Rico, Canada, and Switzerland. But the real question is, you know, what Native nations have been wearing the earrings that I've made. That's really important and special to me too, to see all sorts of people rocking Ojibwe across the world, across nations. It's just a really special experience. Yeah. Oh yeah, and this is a little thing on my packaging. So when I was starting off, I literally had no idea what I was doing, and I would just put the earrings in the mailbox, which was a terrible plan because they would just get sent back to me or get lost. Yeah, but that's how I started off. I would just, you know, package them up, slip them in an envelope, send them off. And that just shows how much I've learned since then, because now I have like an actual packaging system. It actually takes quite a bit of time because all the envelopes that I have, I've thrifted, which is like, people are like, what, you can thrift like things like that? I'm like, yeah, you can thrift literally anything. So I had a friend who was at a thrift store and she's like, I found all these envelopes for 50 cents. She got them for me. And now I've never purchased envelopes. I never like tried it. I don't want things to be manufactured so that I can use them. I just want to use what's already there. So that's how it works with like the bubble wrap, index cards. My sister was applying to college, so she got a lot of like, you know, those fat pamphlets. And so they're just hard enough that you can like cut holes in them and stick the earrings on them so that they, you know, lay flat when you send them. So these are all the little tips and things that I learned as I went. And sometimes it's kind of hard because I'm like, my packaging isn't like, it's not necessarily, you know, cute or aesthetic, but I think my aesthetic is even better because it's like, I care about what I'm sending you. I care about it not having as much of an impact as it could. Yeah, so I guess that's my aesthetic. Yeah, so basically the only thing I purchased for my packaging is tape, which I'm trying to work around that somehow, but we'll see. Yeah. So yeah, this was my first collection in spring. It's a little bit of a mess. You can see my dog modeling, you know how she does. And yeah, it was a pretty big collection. It was definitely like during class, I was definitely paying attention. No, I actually was, but like, you know, I think I could do them at the same time. It's very meditative for me to like be really stressed out on the computer, but like at least that my hands could be doing something that was reflective, that like helped me process the information better. So I was always creating all the time, as you can see here. And I know a lot of you actually have some of these OG earrings. That's so meaningful to me. Yes. And then we moved into summer, where I have this like awesome picture of me like setting them all up, which was also a ton of earrings that my cousin Guige modeled. Super grateful for that. And my sister modeled too. I just don't think I have any pictures of that in here. But yeah, these, you can tell that like as it goes along, my inspirations really come from nature. So summer, strawberries, fruits, insects, corn, things like that. But when you get to things like winter, it's more of like these cool tones, things like that. And my mom, illustrated a children's book just this year about an Ojibwe dancer. She let me use like the backdrop paintings from her book to like put my earrings on as a backdrop, which I think is so cute and special. Like I'll just like forever treasure these pictures, especially like this one with the eagle in the background. So some of these were inspired also from my South Asian culture. So from like the Festival of Lights, Diwali, things like that, that I like to bring in those influences as well. And then this is my most recent collection, which was like Valentine's Day theme, which is basically during the 2 weeks of like quarantine here. But I was just like going for it. And yeah, always try to spot the little spirit bead. It's hard to see it in the pictures, I think, but yeah, this was just really inspired. But like I was away from all my friends, all my loved ones many of my loved ones for a full year, and like it was the first time I was like near them, I was close to them, and I was just like feeling the love and I had to create it. So that's what I did. But in between all of that, I was making like customs and mutual aid fundraisers and commissions and gifts. And like I said, like when I was at home, things were very inspired by nature. But as soon as I was like going to be coming back to Yale, I like had, inspiration from Yale. Those are right here. I had a trade that somebody wanted something with the moon. Somebody asked for a butterfly. I just had to like attempt all these things. The Dominican flag. I really like doing the flags. Those are really fun for me. Very hard, but very fun. Like these were a huge challenge, the Korean flags. These took me, the person ordered them in literally July, and I just sent them like maybe a month and a half ago. So you can tell like when I get a commission, I can only make it if I'm really in the right mindset. That's another thing that my aunties and grandma taught me, that if you're beading, you have to listen to the beads, you have to listen to your mind. If you're angry, it's going to come out wrong. So you have to make sure that you're in the right headspace. And I really hope that all of my customers and all of my supporters like understand that, because if I make something from you, I want it to come directly from all the love that I have for making it. And so if it takes a long time, I don't know if Amon's in here, because I know you're waiting on those peaches that I haven't made in like 7 months. They're coming. So yeah, that's just an example of how long it takes, sort of. Yeah, and then mutual aid, I just totaled this up and I was really just shocked the other day. But since like May of 2020, I've raised, with the help of all of you and many other people, about $5,000 for different mutual aid organizations through the art, and also through the art. Like, so this was like something I did on my own for fundraising for beading supplies for incarcerated relatives. But this one was like somebody donated print and I made earrings based off the art print, which I actually have like in the background. It's like right, I can't point, it's right there. But yeah, so I made earrings based off of it, and then we raffled those off to fundraise. And I tried to like make the places that I fundraise and or gather mutual aid for really different and special. And yeah, I think that I'm just very inspired like to use my art for that type of work as they come in our timelines, basically. So like, really my business started off at the same time as like Juneteenth. So that's like where my first mutual aid came from. I did customs then. And then I was in Dr. Rich's class, Health and Incarceration, which really inspired me to raise money for like my incarcerated relatives, or just Native people across, especially in Canada, who want to bead but are unable because they don't have access to the supplies. So that's where that came from. Things like that. And line 3, of course, being in Minnesota, that's where that came from. And I have a lot of ideas for future mutual aid. It's hard because to balance like, earning enough so that you can have enough for the supplies to create all this, but also wanting to send all your art into mutual aid and not be profiting off of it. So yeah, but I have a few ideas on that as well. Yeah, and so the challenges and things I've learned. So I included these earrings because these earrings really taught me something. Every pair I make teaches me something, but these are like, so I don't know what was happening. So I dream about earrings. So I like, I have designs going in my head. And one day I woke up and I was like, I have to make these. Like, I just have to. So I made these little Monsters Inc. earrings. And usually my earrings, like they get taken with like, honestly within like 5-6 seconds, like they're all gone. I feel like in the chat, back me up on that maybe, but I'm pretty sure that's how fast it goes. And so these earrings, it took these earrings like literally an hour. Nobody was coming for them. And I was like, oh my God, like is this a bad pair of earrings? Like, what's happening? And my brother was like, nobody's gonna wear those, like blah, 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 all this stuff. And I was like, like I've failed. Like, I don't know what's happening. I just made something that's so ugly, blah, blah, blah. But then somebody did buy them and I sent them off, whatever. And then a few weeks later, they reached out to me and they're like, these earrings meant so much to me. I wear them to work. Like, they took selfies at their workplace and they're like, it makes me like feel so special that I can wear like Ojibwe, like earrings that are also connected to like pop culture, all this stuff. And I was like that really hit me. That's an aha moment. Like, when I create something, it's gonna find the person that it's gonna find, and they're gonna love it, and they're gonna, because I love it, and so we'll love it together. And like, that's why these earrings, funny as they are, taught me such a big lesson in that I'm not creating for other people, I'm creating for me and for my ancestors and for my family, and they'll find the way to the people that want them. And yeah, who knew Mike and Sully, who knew that they would really just bring that out in me. But yeah, so that was one of my challenges, is like comparing my work or deciding like who should have it or who shouldn't have it, all that sort of stuff. And also like saying no, because people would be in my DMs all the time, like, oh, can you make me this? Can you make me this? And I would say yes to them, but I wouldn't have the emotional, physical capacity to actually create them. So now I would create stress. Beading would become stressful for me, and that's not what I wanted. So I'm like really working on setting those boundaries, and pricing, because I actually have pretty low prices, like relatively speaking, because I always feel bad like asking for money for art, which is a product of this world, I guess, as it is. But that's been one of the big struggles for me, is figuring that out and balancing that. And then also like respect for other small businesses, because let me tell you, it is so much work. I just didn't think about it in the same way, but it's the packaging, it's the creating, it's the designing, it's the communication. Like, I answer so many DMs every day. It can actually be really exhausting, but also, oftentimes my assistant Shivani will get in there, especially if I need to say no to someone. She'll get in there and be like, no. So it's very useful to have a 13-year-old sister. Highly recommend. Yes, and comparing myself as an artist, and also realizing that I am an artist. Like, I don't think a year ago I really would have called myself an artist in the same way, but now I really feel that way, and I feel very empowered to say like I am an artist, and that feels very special. And also like capitalism and everything. It's just being a part of like, that's the whole idea that I was talking about, like selling my art is stressful for me. So I've been able to start like trading art and stuff like that, which has been really, really nice. Like, for somebody once sent me art prints, or for like knitted things, or like resin earrings, other earrings, stuff like that has been really helpful to me to balance like the whole business aspect, but also like the sharing and the creating and the gathering aspect. Yeah. I'm almost done, so we can get to the questions. Oh yeah, the support. So many of you are featured here. I think I have like probably close to 100 photos of like my friends who send me, or even people I don't know, like sending me images, sending pictures of the earrings, them rocking them. Super, super special to me, especially some of my big customs, like for Evan, that Evan's mom commissioned these beautiful ravens for her. And those took me forever, but I was like, wow, like the fact that I will get to watch Evan wear these on campus, it's amazing. But also, yeah, like, here are some of my friends this fall. We all had like a photo shoot. To have my friends be like, can we do a photo shoot of your, like, the work that you made, is so, it's like unbelievable. I can't even explain the sort of like joy it brings me. And yeah, I mean, every comment, every share, everything like that, everything has just, that's how this art exists. Like, because of that, it's fueling it. That's why I said, like, here, like, big shout out to Pia and Danielle, because I know that Madison was telling me that, like, I don't even know if you're here, but maybe pass this along if you see them, that like they were trying to get the Valentine's Day drop earrings, and that's how Madison like heard about it. And that's why I'm here, like, presenting, like, because of people who are just bringing my art to other people. Yeah, so that's basically on that note. And also, I like these shout outs. Shout out to Evan, because Evan has commented on every single one of my posts since day one, every single post. And like, they're unique comments too. I was like, this is just like, they're not emojis. They're like, oh, Hema, like, you've really done something with the color. Like, I'm so grateful for that, because every comment, every share, every save, every like, that all brings it to more people, which is exactly what I want. So yeah. Oh yes, and speaking of the support, I am so lucky to have my little earrings featured on Indigenous Feminisms, the Insta page, which you can all go follow now, run by Gabriella, who's also probably here, which is like very iconic, especially this one, you know, bringing my South Asian and my Ojibwe identity together. Oh yeah, I just had to include these because it's very entertaining for me to see them like featured in this way. So yes, shout out to you, Gabriella. And then oh yeah, my current workspace. I was gonna do a little tour, but I was like, I don't know how to hold the computer like that. So this is where I work now. I got this little thing. I have like my sister's art here in the background. This poster that my friends across the hall made for me, Mino Bimadaziwan, which means like live the good life of respect in Ojibwe. Kind of has many meanings. Yeah, I post up here all the time working. I brought some. I think you can see me, right? My little box. I think. So I brought some of the earrings that I've been working on and stuff like that. Actually, these my mom made as an inspiration. I wear these often. But I also brought some of the stuff I'm working on, like these Prince earrings, which you can see in the picture, but also here, and this Ari Lennox earring. We'll see. It'll become something maybe. Um, yeah, or this one that I recently made. I was very stressed for midterms, so I made this big earring, which I'm really excited about. And honestly, I might keep this one. I have never like kept my earrings, so maybe this will be my first pair for myself. Yeah, but I just want to show you like where I'm working because somebody was telling me the other day like, what made you think you could do this like during school? And I was like, what a good question. What a great question because it has been so hard to keep up. But it's also a huge part of my life, so I wanted to balance it like that. We're almost done. Oh yeah, so the newest work that I'm doing is a lot of collabs with my sister. Like I said, queen of the shrinky dinks. She creates these centers. My mom drew this one, these Prince ones, but Sahaley drew like these two, and I bead around them. And we make pins or earrings, also all types of stuff. And also these like RB earrings. Like I said, when I got to Yale, I was super inspired by the environment here, which is the Yale environment. So for my dance group, I was making these earrings, stuff like that. Yeah. And this is the last slide. Yeah. So the future, like what's next? Well, I don't really know, but I do know that I think I need a logo and I don't know what to do for it. So many ideas are welcome. And I also need, I don't know if I should change from Beadwork by Hema to something different. I don't know about any of that, but that's all in my mind. I really like this image of my dog that Gabriella photoshopped these earrings onto. Yeah. And I also want to maybe have a website someday. I want to learn more teachings and share more and do applique and stuff like that. I want to do more collabs. I like the shrinky dink thing. I like art. I have like a lot of ideas. I just need the time for them. And I really want to bead my first regalia. So like all the things that I would need to match the fancy shawl that my grandma and I made, so I could wear it to a powwow someday and like wear my own work and dance with it. It'd be really special to me. But yeah, I think that's sort of the gist of everything. I will stop my screen share. That was like a lot of information, but I hope it was entertaining. And yes.
Your presentation was amazing. It was so inspiring to hear about it and all of the support that you have. And I was telling you, my friend started screaming one day and I went out and I was like, are you guys okay? Like, what happened? And they're like, no, Hema's earrings just dropped and they were running around trying to get them. They're like, they're selling out. So no, it's just, you have such a strong support base, and hearing about this has been incredible. So I think what we're going to do now is maybe 10 minutes or so of questions on behalf of Yale Fashion House, and then we're going to open it up to audience questions. So I'll go ahead and start with one of the questions that we had. And so after seeing all of your beautiful pieces, the inspiration behind collections, how they change, what are some of your favorite styling tips for your earrings? How do you like to style them? And then how would you define your own personal style?
That's such a good question. Styling. Yeah, when you guys brought this to me, I was like, fashion, who me? Like, but then I realized, oh, like that it is a statement, especially on Zoom, where you can pop off and show your earrings. Yeah, I would say with beaded earrings, I think like they're already so complex in themselves. I like to wear a lot of like base, just like singular color things with them. But I think the coordination is key. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Alma walking around, but she really has it going on with like the green and the yellow. Like she really matches the earrings well. So take inspo. But yeah, so I think things like that, like pulling out the colors from the earrings. I guess my own style has always been really defined by earrings, especially yellow beads. I wear a lot of yellow beads. and turquoise and things like that. And so I think I sort of like matched myself around those, especially shoes and earrings. That's a thing for me. Like if you can match your shoes to your earrings, I'm truly impressed. It's beautiful. Um, so yeah, I guess that. And then also my style is really based on sustainability. I don't like to buy anything unless it's like has already been created on this earth. So I do my best to try that way. Which is kind of fun because then you can find like old pieces or pre-loved pieces and you're like, wow, I'm just passing along like I knew somebody enjoyed wearing this and now I do too. And like that feels special, like going out and walking into the world like that. So yeah, I think that kind of answered it, hopefully, but generally, yeah.
To go off of that, also, I don't have my ears pierced, but this is like giving me such inspiration, even though I'm like terrified of needles. So I think I'm gonna go for it now. And the next question we have for you is how you touched on this a little bit, but how do you manage schoolwork and running a small business? I mean, it's crazy listening to it. And like, how do you continue the creative process within dorms in such a small space? And do you have any advice for people who are trying to get started?
Yes, I would say like right off the bat, it has simply taken its toll. Like, I mean, I think my Instagram reflects that. Like I have a lot less posts. People have to wait. Sometimes even like I feel terrible, but like sometimes a week or so before I'll respond to them. Like it's kind of a mess. But no, it's good. Like the point is it's a journey. Like I'm figuring it out. So yeah, I think like I've been trying to balance like I forgot to mention this in my presentation, but I developed like pretty bad wrist issues because I was typing so much because everything is online. And then I was beading so much. And so like now I have to wear these like really cute like carpal tunnel gloves every time I type. But yeah, no. So I've been like really, that's what I was talking about. Like slowing down is an important thing that I should be doing more of. So it's like something that I'm working on because I want to create like when I'm in the right mindset. And honestly, like a lot of times at school, I'm not in the right mindset to be creative in that way, but I also want to balance it. So especially like our break days have been really nice for that. Like I'll just sit down and I'll like listen to a book on tape, which is what I call audiobooks because I'm old, I guess. So I'll listen to an audiobook and I'll just like zone out and sort of like create. Yeah, I think I've just been really grateful to the people who have like waited so long for pieces because I'll even have like anxiety, stress. Like I'll be like, oh God, like, do they even want it anymore? Blah, blah, blah. But people have been like, like for example, Christine, who the Korean flag earrings went to, like she got them literally 6 months after wanting them and she still wanted them. And that's like very special to me to be like supported like that. But yeah, I think the balance, like any advice would be like, just remember not to push yourself because like I said, you want like, if you're pushing yourself, what comes out won't be as good as it could be if you were taking the time to like really invest and love what you're doing.
No, that's amazing to hear. And I guess one other question, when you were showing your different collections between summer and winter and you use different tones, what has been your favorite collection and piece to make so far? I know you were talking about those specific pairs of earrings and you got that like aha moment from it. So just what has been your favorite collection so far and what made it your favorite?
Good question. Yeah. Oh, that's so hard because like I said, like everything I make always teaches me something. And it just depends on the day or the environment about what it'll be teaching me. And yeah, no, I mean, my Kinsella earrings, like they really got in my head. But I think my favorite that I've made was probably I really liked my summer collection because I think I had all the space and time in the world to like really dedicate to it. So it was really like reflective of what was around me and it was fun, like hummingbirds, butterflies, things that are so special to me. Like our family is really into gardening, so it's like right in my backyard, like that I can now wear that. People could wear that. So I think that was probably my favorite. And also having my sister model, my brother took the photos, and my cousin also model was like really, really incredible. Just brought us together like in just like the perfect way. So yeah.
I love hearing about how like creative your family is. That's so cool. From listening to your presentation, I heard a lot about like almost this meditative headspace that you get into when you're beading. And I was wondering if you could tell us more about how you get into the right headspace to create. And do you have any like tips on centering yourself and becoming more, I guess, creative or in the right headspace?
Yes, definitely super important. I think it's sort of like when you become so in tune with like what you're creating, it like it shows you that you're not there yourself. So like if I'm making earrings and like the thread keeps getting tangled, I'll be like, this is not just the thread, like this is something else, like I need to step back, put it away, come back to it later, something like that. So I think it's actually like they're showing me what's up with in my brain if I can't see it there. So that's one way. And then I also think like, yeah, like my whole life I've always been like, I really like to have something to do with my hands, like doodling or even note taking, whatever. I just like, I have like my nervous energy goes into that space. So being able to bead has like been super meditative in that way, especially when I think a lot of the time now, like many people judge how they meditate, like, oh, I'm not good at meditation, or I can't meditate or whatever. But you have to look at it like, well, what are the ways that work best for me to meditate? And sometimes that's not necessarily breathing. Sometimes it's breathing and beading or walking or like things like that. And like, I think like relearning that and relearning like mindfulness in terms of my own heritage and culture has been like super, super important to the way that I've dealt with like this absolutely wild year of, I mean, we've all gone through so many ups, so many downs. Yeah. So I think just finding it as a reflection place too. And that's actually pretty great for that. My Instagram has been a really good place for that because it's sort of like a journal. Like my captions, they're really long. I hope you read them because they're usually like very long thoughts. Like these are all the things that went into me choosing this specific color for this specific reason. Like, and honestly, it's for me. Like you can read it too, but it's also for me. So I feel like that's another way that it's become very meditative process.
And then the last question we're going to ask before we open it up is, how can we show you the most support, either through sales, awareness, and then if you can give us some insight into what the next collection might be when you're thinking of releasing another drop, and how can we stay updated on your pieces?
Yes. Okay. You can stay updated on the pieces. I'll start there by just following my Instagram at Beadwork by Hema. That's pretty much where I post everything. I also recently came out with, like the close friend story. I also now have a close friend story. I haven't added very many people to it because it's like not full together yet, but it'll be like for like the OG people, So I might drop things on there that like you might get to see if no one else sees. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Still figuring out the kinks and stuff with that, but that should be, and also like beading memes, like because I come across so many beading memes or like funny stories or like things that happen to me while I'm beading that I want to share, but like not necessarily with like the 3,000-4,000 people that follow me. So now that I see all these people in the Zoom, like you might see yourself on there quite soon. Yeah, and then the newest work that I'm probably going to put out is I have like a bunch of ideas on hoops that might be coming, but actually they might not even come this year because this semester has actually been really tough. So I still have to finish a lot of my like commissions and stuff like that. So I kind of have to focus on them. But I brought these here because I know the shades people in here are very excited for these like specific shades earrings that will be coming soon, if those apply to you. And yeah. And yeah, what was the first thing you asked? I missed it. I went backwards.
No, you're good. How can we show you the most support? So either through sales, awareness, spreading the word, things like that.
Yes, definitely awareness. Sales are important, but I also just enjoy like sharing. I really hope that people are reading what I write because that's like super important to, if you're wearing the earrings, like to know where they came from or why they came from. So yeah, like definitely like use, looking at my Instagram, not like a social media, but like as like a journal of like my thoughts and my creations, and sharing. Every time I see something on someone's post, I literally get more, like I can see it quantitatively, like with the numbers that my followers rise when you guys share things, but also like that I get more comments or like people saying like, oh, this reminds me of this or this artist, stuff like that. And that's so meaningful. And truly like the connections that you can make are so unbelievable. I think like I have a friend who goes to Carnegie Mellon and she like shared it on her story. One of her friends saw it, they shared it on theirs. Then somebody from California from some university saw it and they ended up asking me to like do a whole event with them on their website. And I was like, that never would have happened if not for all these steps. So like everything you do, every action you make is important. It like shares my work, it shares the teachings, it shares like the visibility of Native art being like this, especially on this campus, like to see it while I'm walking around, if you're coordinating your little mask and your earrings, I see you. So yeah, I think just sharing and learning where it comes from are probably the most important things.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up the questions to the audience. So you can either raise your hand or submit a question through the chat. So we'll go ahead and give you guys some time to, oh, someone's already raised their hand. Okay.
Hi Hema. First, I would like to start off by showing off these super cool earrings that Hema made me. They're green and I love them so dearly. So I really appreciate you for doing that. And just thank you so much for like sharing this space and all of your journey. Like this has been such an amazing and like such a treat. My question for you is like, I was so inspired by the story of like the Mike and Sully earrings. And I just want to know, like, are there any other specific like earrings that have really taught you, you know, like specific lessons? Or...
That's a good question. I think like I might have to pull up my Instagram just to like scroll through to see if anything comes to mind off of that. But I think like patience, like I mean the Korean flag earrings, those took me like the reason they took so long is I first of all the Korean flag has like, you know, the different lines on every side and I was really mixing them up every time I did it. So I just restart many times. But those taught me a lot because those are the smallest beads I've ever used. Those are like the ones that most of you are wearing are size 11s and those were size 15s. The higher you get, the smaller they get. So they were really small. I was dropping them everywhere. My sisters can back this up in the chat, but like they'll find beads everywhere in our house, like literally everywhere. So yeah, I think that's taught me a lesson of like patience and like, you know, like I was getting very frustrated, like, you know what, I'm just not gonna do these earrings, like blah, blah, blah. But now that I have done them, they're so beautiful to me and they're so beautiful on her. And so like, I think that is like, that was a lesson to me for sure. And also many of like the mutual aid earrings, I don't know what to call them, but like the ones that I've used for mutual aid, because it's like, those have taught me a really great lesson in like, if you make something with a specific organization in mind, like the colors, the things that come to mind to create those, and that they are like actually being created for this cause and that people buy them so that they can send that money to that cause, like that really taught me something about creation and inspiration, like being very intentional. Yeah.
I have a question, if I can ask one. Hi, Hema. Well, I'm wearing some beadwork by Hema right now too, which Hema sent me before an interview I had, and it was a surprise, and I wore them for my interview. I also wore them for my graduation photos, so I'll be in the yearbook with beadwork by Hema. But I just wanted, as another South Asian and Ojibwe person, wanted to ask you if you could speak more about navigating both of those parts of your identities and your cultures in your beadwork. And yeah, I would just love to hear more about that. And I love you, and you're so great. Thank you.
I love you too. Yes, so a lot of people ask me about that all the time. A lot of people like, you know, being mixed, like, are you choosing one side when you create, blah, blah, blah. Like, absolutely not, because I'm like, I just am who I am. So what I create is from both sides of who I am. And I think like a lot of my stuff is inspired by Ojibwe, obviously, because they're, you know, that's where the art form comes from. But I also have a lot of like Gujarati inspiration, like, especially when I use golds and things like that and black, like those, they just like connect me. I recently did a collab with like an Asian American conference, in which like they had me create like specifically South Asian designs. And actually I have one here. This was a little necklace. I'm starting necklaces now too, but it was based off of like sort of the marigolds that you can see like at a lot of Indian weddings or celebrations. And yeah, I mean, and I also think like beading with my dadi and dada in mind, they're there. Hey, like I think that is like already an inspiration that helps guide my creations. And I'm also working on, somebody commissioned a specific like South Asian design, so I'm working on that, and I think that's like very special for me to create that for them, because you know, it's when people ask for commissions, like it's not just, you know, for you, like it is really for me. Like I become so connected with what it is and who your identity is. Like I've done so many like the Korean flags or any of the flags really, or I did like Japanese phoenixes once. That was really hard, but now I like know the story of the Japanese phoenix, and that's really cool for me. So yeah, I hope that answered it generally.
And I think Lauren has a question.
Hi, Emma. Hi from next door. I don't even have a question. I was just gonna say, like, this presentation has been so cool. I feel like I have seen a lot of the parts of your like beadwork journey, especially like over the summer. I feel like I would call you and be like, oh, hey, what'd you do today? And like bead like for hours on end. So, but I like, I thought I'd seen like most of it, but I think it was so cool to see all of it put together, and like, you're just really amazing. And so love you.
I love you too, Lauren. I'm gonna come over there and give you a hug. Lauren is my sweet mate, everyone.
Hi, I also have a more of a comment. I would turn my camera on so you could see my earrings, but I'm also very oily. But anyway, I just wanted to say that growing up, I've told Hema this before, but growing up, I was always very ashamed to wear beaded earrings. I was like, those are ugly. Like, I want to wear like white people earrings. And now it's been very like, I think growing for me as a person, but like also inspiring just to like see how beadwork has like literally become like quote unquote high fashion at this university because of Hema. And like if I could tell like my younger self that like you're gonna own like beadwork by Hema and like people are gonna be like, oh my God, I love your earrings, like when I was younger, I would have lost it. But anyway, yeah, thanks to Hema. And I also just want to say she is severely undercharging y'all for your earrings. So like keep that in mind.
Thank you, Gabriella. Yeah, I remember you telling me that story, and it's the same for me. Like when I would wear these in high school, people would call them like hippie earrings and stuff like that. And first of all, where'd you get that? I don't know what you're on, but like, but yeah, I think it's always been like so scary to wear beads like that, to wear porcupine quills, all types of things like that. But I'm really just glad that people are wearing them and loving them, and that like having experiences like you said. And yeah, I think it's just like it's like creating a new world, like where this is so accepted. It's really special. So thank you for sharing that.
I have a question. Are there any designs that you are hoping to make someday in the future?
Good question. Yes, I have a lot of sketches. I don't know how you can sketch earrings. I sort of just like draw out what I think they would be, because I have a lot of I really do start dreaming of earrings. Like I'll wake up with like things in mind, or I'll go to sleep with things in mind and forget them and then be mad at myself for forgetting them, stuff like that. But yeah, I think definitely the South Asian, like I really want to dedicate my time to that. At first I was so upset with myself, like why do I not have any South Asian, like more South Asian designs? But I was like, you know what? Like it's the process. Like it takes time to bring in your whole other background, other heritage, like to have Gujarati inspirations in there, like that will take some time, but I'm excited to eventually have those. And yeah, I started this new idea of like I've been making these little cabs like I was showing with like people in them, and I think that could be really fun. Like this is Ari Lennox, but I had these Prince ones too. I never finished them, I just start them, but finishing them is probably on my list, and like adding more ideas and stuff into there. And also I really want to make more fruit. I've been thinking about that recently, because yeah, I feel like I ate so much more fruit at home than I do now, and I miss fruit. So yeah, fruit.
I have a question. I would turn my camera on, but I am also, yeah, like my hair. But I am the proud owner of 2 Beadwork by Hema earrings, like please. And I love getting them for my friends. And speaking of like just friendship and community, Hema, I've been like thinking about how people who are like artists and creators, like they always kind of have people who do the same things as them, and they go to them like, you know, when they're doing a draft, right? If they're writing something or a poem or something like that. And I've been noticing that like, you know, when you post things, because they sell out so quickly, you'll also like hype up your other friends who are beading. And so I was just wondering if you could kind of like talk about how those connections were formed, and if like that beading community kind of impacts your work.
Yes, that is such a good question. And I actually have a list that I was going to drop in the chat of other artists, because yeah, no, absolutely. So the friendships that I formed, like a lot of people I know them through the earrings that I made for them before I met them in person, especially like this semester I'm learning that. Or people that like other Native people, especially from different Ivies, different schools in general, I've been meeting them. And yeah, being able to like share and create those connections has been definitely like the highlight of the page. Also, it is 2:30, so if you have to leave, no worries. But I'll be here. But also the sun is out there, so get your priorities, you know. But yeah, I think I met so many people. I have one friend, I don't know if Iris is here or not, but we were in high school together for 1 year, and I remember like both of us talking to each other and being like, wow, we'll never learn to bead. Like where will I find the time to like actually go live with my grandmother and learn, or go to my aunties or anything like that? And now both of us, I'll send it in the chat, both of us have pages, which is just like one of the most beautiful things I've ever, that's like so meaningful to me, to like be able to share that with her, even though we haven't talked in maybe like whatever 6 years or anything like that. But yeah, to be able to like connect like that, very, very special. And in general, I've met so many different artists, and I often, when I repost an artist's work, a lot of times they'll DM me and be like, because you reposted, like someone bought them like from your page, and I'll be like, oh my God, like it just shows you like how that works, like how sharing each other's designs, it really does work. It's not a competition, it's like, it's a community, and like every time that they are supported, you feel supported. And even though you've never met them, I really do feel like I have met them like in some way or another, some life or another. But yeah, so I love that question. Yeah, I think definitely like meeting those people through those pages has been really impactful, and also not just other bead artists, but like graphic artists, or people who bake. People were like, me and this is very interesting. Cassidy, I think you're here. Cassidy's like best friend from high school's mom and I like connected. Like we've never met. We don't even have anything really in common, but she makes like dips and things like that. So one time we traded, like I gave her earrings and she gave someone a dip. Like, yeah, it was interesting. But it's like all these like random connections where you can like support them in whatever they do. Yeah, so I think definitely like it's been such a beautiful community, and I'll try to send all the lists of other artists, but also you can see them on my page. I have like other artists linked, and there's like a lot in there, because also there's a lot of things I can't make because they've originated it and it's like special to them, and so go get it from them, you know? Yeah. Thank you, Claudia. So nice to see you here.
And then I think there was a quick question in the chat that asked, it's from Natasha, if Natasha wants to ask it. If not, I can read it. That we just touch on all the questions that were being asked.
Oh, sure. I'll be quick. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was just wondering, I've been fortunate enough to get one of your pairs like through a conference that I went to, winning the raffle. But if there's a way like we were ever interested in financially like comfortable enough to want to continue supporting your work, not with anything in return, just like a way to donate, is there a way to do that? Are there ways to get involved, I guess?
Wow, that's so kind and generous. And I'm so excited they arrived. The earrings that you got actually were based off of a sari that my daddy has. So that's
they did. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't have anything like that yet, but I could definitely like announce something like that on my page. I know a lot of the artists that I've been inspired from have been starting to do like they're not giveaways, they're like, it's like sponsorship, like you sponsor the money that it takes me to make a pair for like a low income BIPOC who like doesn't have like the financial ability to just like buy themselves a pair of earrings or whatever, but deserves them. So I think I was going to try to start doing those. Yes, so that's a great question. Yeah, I think I'll probably maybe make some announcements like that on my page, but I also have to like I said, like I am really setting my boundaries, and like I don't have a ton of time to like commit to certain things, even mutual aid things, which is like crazy how like I could have a mutual aid thing every day, like, you know, raise money every single day for a new cause, and yet I haven't totally been able to do that, but I'm hoping to be able to do that more. So yes, I guess just keep an eye out on my page, post notifications on. And thank you all so much for coming. I know we're over, so feel free to dip out, but it's seriously like, I literally like heart palpitations. It's very nice to see. I feel very loved and supported.
Yes, and Megan, were you saying something?
I was just saying thank you.
Yeah, and then I also just want to say thank you so much on behalf of Yale Fashion House for coming here to talk. It is an absolute honor to have you in this space to hear about your stories and your work and your heritage, and to just have you even on Yale's campus is amazing, and definitely going to turn those post notifications on. Thank you so much for being here. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I can stay if anyone has any extra questions or anything too.
Thank you, Hema. We love you.
I love you too.
Love you, Hema. See you soon.
Bye. I love you. Hey, Daddy. Wait, Daddy, can you hear me? Want to say hey? Oh, you're on mute. She's gonna figure it out. Yeah.
No, Hema, thank you. Literally, I'm like also like, oh no, this was so amazing. And it's
Yeah, thank
great
you
to
so
have
much.
you here.
Genuinely
like-
considering the ear piercing right now, even though I'm
Yes,
terrified
put
of
me
being-
on that close friend story, please. I'm gonna use this
Yes.
to-
Yes.
I want a pair, but yes.
People often ask me for clip-ons, Lauren, so maybe you'll be the first.
I might take you up on that. I will
Yeah.
do a commission.
Yeah, thank you both so much for helping me do this. Like, I've never been able to put all my work in a presentation, so I'm really grateful.
I love you, Hema.
I love you, girl. I'll see you.
Thanks for organizing this, everyone. It was great. Thanks,
Yes,
Hema.
bye.
Bye.
Mama P.
Okay. I think we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
But like again, thank you so much. Just like I don't even have any more words. Like just thank you. This is a great event.
Thank you so much. I want to make sure
yes.
that the recording actually gets saved. Do you know like how I do that?
Did you record it to the computer or to the cloud?
To the computer, I think.
I
There
think
should be like a little
once
square on the top when you